Yesterday, I posted a video talking about Lindsey and her daughter Miley Grace. Miley Grace made a few videos on her TikTok sharing her side, and then Lindsey made a TikTok sharing her side, responding to Miley Grace's claims. Well, the video that I made yesterday and posted was about 30 minutes long. The original video was like an hour, but my editing software was having issues saving an hour-long video. Like every single time I tried to save it, it would get corrupted. So I finally had to cut the video in half, and it finally saved. So this is the second half of what should have been part of my video yesterday. There was a few times in my video yesterday where I'm like, okay, so we're going to talk about these receipts at the end of the video, and we never got a chance to get to that because the second half of the video wouldn't save. So we're just going to add it here, and hopefully this is the last we're going to be talking about this for a while. Hopefully this drama starts to die down between Lindsey and Miley Grace, and they can just handle it in court. And so I just want to get to the receipts. I think some of them are very relevant because they cover claims that Lindsey has made. So let's get into that. Okay, let's look at the Love After Lockup Reddit together. This Reddit user here, Human T519, they are from the same town as Lindsey, I believe, and they had some receipts they shared. They know the stepmother, the father, and pretty much everyone involved, it sounds like. So someone said, this is so sad. This kid has never had a consistent adult in her life ever. Lindsey should be ashamed. And they said, she has actually. The narrative that she hasn't is another lie. Her dad, her stepmother, and her gammy were all in her lies. She went back and forth between her grandma and her dad's house because she was always that close with her grandma. The one and only person who has never been consistent for her is her mother. Her dad and stepmom have not been allowed to see her since 2023, and they're just now finally in a position to fight back. They have sat back silently for years, letting their names be slandered online. Someone said, I really don't mean to sound rude to anyone, but her stepmother and dad are really good people. Hayden has 2 sons. Dad has Miley Grace, and they have a daughter together now, and they love all those kids. It's just extremely frustrating seeing them constantly being lied about. They spent years helping raise her just to be cut out the last 3 years. There's some drama with everything, I think, right around the beginning of summer in 2024 or during summer, due again to going on live and telling lies. But when we try to put everything out there, then no one listens. So we all have to remember that Lindsey was trying to make it sound like the father really hasn't been in Miley Grace's life since December 2023. This person's claiming that was not by choice. And there's been text messages where they admitted that they, they're not broke, but they're a family that, kind of lives paycheck to paycheck, it sounds like. And they just make the best of what they have. And they're just now in a position to fight back. But Lindsey made it sound like they were not in Miley Grace's life for years. Well, look what I came across. You have pictures of the Miley Grace and the daddy. This is from 2016. 2016. They're at, it looks like cheer or gymnastics or something for Miley. Here's another picture of them all together in 2017. Then here's a picture of Miley with them in 2018. This is another picture of them together in 2018. Cut off the date on this one, but here's another one. Here is 2020 with Miley when she turned 11. And this looks like 2021. So they've been in her life. They've been celebrating birthdays and holidays with her. Lindsey tried to act like, oh, they haven't talked to her in years. They've never given her a birthday present outside of one Stanley Cup. But, I mean, it looks like they're together on Christmas and having birthday cakes and celebrations with her and giving her a normal childhood the best they could when she was around. Okay, so someone was talking about it'd be wild if Chad ever saw the video of Miley Grace saying that all she ever talked to me about him was his money. It'd be wild if Chad ever sees this video and decides to break up with Lindsey. And this person said, oh, they both seen it. Unfortunately, that man is also a bit off the rocker. So the only thing I'm concerned about, someone's like, look, I'm just concerned that someone's talking about the fact they think Lindsey paid off a CPS worker, and the fact that they're kind of talking about this and making Miley Grace believe this. And this person, who's kind of an inside source, Human T, said she believes this because of the Brad guy involved. I can't remember exactly what the job description he has, but he allegedly has influence in that area. Regardless, if CPS tells the police to remove a child from a home, they do. And so far, the only home CPS has removed her from is her mother's. She said, I know the police don't call the shots. Lindsey has stated multiple times her excuse for saying she wanted to sign her rights away was to lure them out because a CPS worker had a cop with her to remove Miley, which is why I then said if CPS tells a cop to remove or assist, they would be removed. I didn't mean just the cop. I meant she told them several times police or CPS was going to remove Miley from their home to bring her back, but that never happened. And it won't happen because her dad has always been in her life, paid child support, and has joint custody, current emergency custody, or whatever it's called. Okay, so someone explained who Brad is. They said Brad is Lindsey's brother-in-law. In the original CPS safety plan, Miley Grace was going to stay with Brad during the week for school and then be at her dad's on the weekend. In the phone call where Lindsey says she'll sign her rights over, Miley Grace's grandmother, her dad's mom, says that Brad either didn't agree or pulled out of the plan. I can't remember the exact verbiage, but that's why she's with her dad full time now. They do have emergency custody now, and they're taking everything to court. Chad is Lindsey's now boyfriend, fiance. The condoms message was before Lindsey even met Chad, so it wasn't her and Miley that were still living. It was just her and Miley just living together, and it was with her ex-boyfriend. She's now dating Beau, who is Chad's adopted son. She's now dating Chad's son, Beau, who is Chad's adopted son. They have no blood relation, and Chad and Lindsey are not married yet, so they're not stepbrother and sister. And even if they were already married, Beau and Miley literally just met each other around March. This person who's close to the situation, Human T, they said, it's not what I think, it's what I know. I don't mean any of my messages to sound rude either, but it's hard seeing her dad and stepmother always slandered. Before they moved in with Chad, she was not being this responsible parent that she's trying to make it out like she is. She was letting Miley Grace do whatever she wanted, drinking, sex, and no, this stuff was not supervised as she claims. She then did a completely parenting switch to keep Chad around, even when with all that came out. She literally was telling her how to act and how to impress him and be like his son, etc. She has said her dad and stepmom have never been in her life, never had anything to do with her. That simply is not true. When she went to jail, Gammy had just lost her husband, and when Miley Grace wasn't with her dad, she was with Gammy because, as we all know, Lindsey was doing illegal activities. Dad and Gammy did not live maybe 10 minutes from each other at the time, and when she went to jail, her dad asked Miley Grace what she wanted, and she did not want to leave her due to the trauma of her mom going to jail and just losing her husband. So for years, she was with both Gammy and her dad. She has a comment right now on her video saying she only occasionally saw her dad at family events, and that's just been this past September to around 2023, and that's because she was not allowed to go to their house. Once her mom got out of jail, they didn't have the money at the time to fight the lawyer that she had. I've seen with my own eyes countless messages of friends messaging both her stepmom and dad, begging them to get her out of there due to the abuse that was going on. And once they finally had enough to move forward, they did. CPS doesn't just take a kid and implement a safety plan for them. There's people actively doing drugs and things that could hurt their children who still don't have their kids taken. The only reason they went public with all this information was because Lindsey kept interacting with teens that were bullying her daughter, going live telling lies about why both kids didn't live there anymore, and Miley Grace herself knew that the harassment would not stop unless everything was put out there. I do have permission to share, but this is maybe 2% worth of pictures with her and her dad and stepmom. As much as I would love for her and her mother to be able to mend and have a relationship, Lindsey's actions have constantly proven why there's a rift. I mean, telling her that she's gonna have punishment for leaving her makeup bag in the bathroom and talking about the maggots. And she said letting a man who both her and her daughter have only known since maybe March talk to her and cuss at her. The only true support in all this that Lindsey has is from people online who are not within the area, who take everything she says as fact. Anyways, as I said, pictures over years of Miley Grace with her dad. These are the pictures I'm talking about. This is the last thing I want to expose. So not only do we see Lindsey literally throwing shade or talking about how much she loves seeing Miley Grace being in her villain era. So not only is she bullying Miley Grace online, her own 16-year-old daughter, but here's more evidence of her doing exactly that. So Miley's dating Chad's adopted son, Beau. Ex-girlfriend made a TikTok and she said, "At me if you're gonna post about me." And this was directed towards Miley Grace, and she had the song playing, "Cause ain't nothing worse than a pick-me bitch," in the background, directed towards Miley Grace. Well, look who came in the comments. Lindsey, she said it's not even a flex though, laughing emoji. And people are like, "Oh my God, me when I seen a profile picture." And they're like, "Ain't no way her mama commented." Like, people are shocked. Here's her mom contributing to the conversation and joking around with this person who is calling out Miley Grace. Like, if you're going to be giving engagement to someone like this, you should be defending your daughter, or just keep quiet. Don't sit there and contribute to someone bullying Miley Grace when she's already going through enough in life as is. But that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you guys think about all this. There's a lot more tea, that human tea on Reddit spilled. If you guys want to go check that out, it's definitely worth looking at. That's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below, and thank you guys so much for watching.